2 seconds. How you guys doing out there? I'm Doug Best. It's about 11:30. We here at the Doug Best Show at Best Taxes, baby. And I got my friend here, Mr. Larry Fowler, Celine. And, this the beauty about having your own equipment, having your own podcast, having your own everything. You've been independent. And we could talk about it. A few minutes ago, we was just looking at the California wildfires up there in Los Angeles. And Celine came by, he seen by it. I got a new sign up there that says open. It's 11:30. He came in, and we sit down, we start talking. And I said, man, we should do a podcast. And guys, I'm going to set the record here. And then I'm going to give the microphone to my man, Celine. Me and Celine was in USP Lompoc Federal Penitentiary. And listen, guys, I'm finna set the premise here. 1,500 people in USP Lompoc Federal Penitentiary. 700 or more got natural life. Doesn't mean they're going to die in there.
Yes.
I seen Freeway Rick on there the other day. Make sure the microphone close to you. I'm going to give it to you. Freeway Rick, and I seen him on one of those shows, and somebody was saying, hey, man, you know that guy? Of course I know that guy. Mm. Everybody in the Federal Penitentiary know each other. John Gotti, all the rest of them. But I don't talk about none of that stuff too much, but we're going to talk tonight. 700 people got natural life. The average sentence in there is probably 30, 40 years. But my man here, Celine, Larry Fowler. Larry Fowler. I'm thinking about the guy from Chicago. Yeah, but my man here, Celine, and me and him, John Shaw and Diamond, Jay Diamond. Celine did 38 years, 24 days in the state and the federal penitentiary. 38 years. I want that to sit in right now. You on the Doug Best Show. Anybody out there, you listen to us live right now? Man, listen. You could go to Shannon Sharp. You could go to Don Lemon. You can go to anybody you want to go to. They can't tell you what me and Celine done seen in our life. And at first, we used to be thinking, we said, hey, man, do we talk about our past? We straight now, baby. We could talk about it all. This my man, Larry Fowler. He did 38 years, 24 days between the state and the federal penitentiary. And he been home. How many years you been home now?
On the 31st of this month, it'll be 2 years.
2 years. So just imagine, you out of society for 38 years and 24 days. And then you come home, and then when he left, there was no internet. There was no phones. There was none of that stuff. You come out here, and when you come out here, the roads didn't change, the freeways didn't change. All they got Starbucks. What the hell is Starbucks? Celine, let's talk a little bit, man. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, man. Hey, and the thing is about, you were saying, man, I'm not dressed. This one I'm finding out, guys. This one I'm finding out. If somebody out there, man, y'all tune in and listen to me, baby. Hey, a bunch of them people out there that be in positions of power, and they be celebrities, and they be this and that, and then you be around them, and you said, what? This nut running what? The bank, the city, the police department, they running this corporation? Man, guys, this is the Doug Best Show. I'm going to give it to you real, baby, because I can, because they whatever they going to do, they going to close the doors. I go create a podcast over there on my lot over there on Jensen. But Celine, talk to the people, man, and let it be real, man. Pull a microphone up to you. Introduce yourself, man. Tell them about who you are. You on the Doug Best Show.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, that is correct. I have done 38 years and 24 days in incarceration. It wasn't nice, but I got through it.
Pull the mic up to you, because you can hear yourself in the mic in there, but they're not going to be able to hear you through that thing. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm
You're
sorry.
All right.
Yeah, as I was saying, I did 38 years and 24 days, and I got through it. It wasn't necessarily easy, but I made it. I had, through the grace of God, I was there, and I did that. And now I'm home. I've been home now for for almost 3 years. I mean, almost 2 years now. I'm loving it.
Was you afraid when you first came home, man?
Oh man, we ain't gonna talk. Well,
man, because there's somebody out there probably they don't know. The only thing they heard
was, let me tell you, after coming home back to Fresno and seeing my old neighborhood and things that changed so dramatically. My wife and I, we walked down that particular street where we lived at, and I was in tears because so much had changed.
Hey man, there's somebody outside that might be about to cry. How many years did Nelson Mandela do The Long Walk to Freedom. We both read that book together, man.
Oh, for sure. We read that book. He did.
And
He did
27
years, right?
And he did 38 years.
Yeah. Well, there's others that have done more than me. They have us going through. The parole department have us going through a lifers meeting every month, twice. I mean, once a month. The second Thursday of each month, and we go over there, and there's lifers there. They've done just as much time as I have, and we hear their stories, and we share with one another about how we can benefit from being out here, and how we can perhaps encourage one another not going back. That's been helpful to some degree, but it hasn't been easy out here either. You know, I've been looking for work, and I've had to basically make my own work.
That's beautiful.
When I came home with a dream, and that dream was I wanted to become a truck driver. If I had known that it was going to be shortcut through the Department of Correction, I probably would have taken a different approach.
What's shortcut? So the people out there that don't know what you're talking about.
Well, the department here, the parole department won't allow us to drive over the road. What I mean by that, once you come out of the school for truck driving, most trucking companies want you to go over the road. You know, new students, they want them over the road, and I wasn't able to do that because the Department of Correction or the parole department wouldn't allow us here in Fresno, California, to do that, and that's terrible, because here you have your dream set on your livelihood, and you're trying to make that happen. They won't allow that. They allow you to drive up and down California, of course, with permission, but they won't allow you to drive over the road where most companies want you to go, and that's sad. That needs to change.
So just to kind of just make sure that when the people's following you. When he's saying over the road, he's saying if you had a load from Walmart that was going from here to I don't know, Phoenix, Arizona, that's over the road. He's saying that you being able to cross a state line.
Correct. You can't go outside of California.
They're not going to allow you to go outside the state of California. But so I'm just asking you, there's somebody else out there asking. So I've been to the penitentiary. It could be the mayor, it could be Donald Trump, or it could be I don't see no inhibitions. I don't see how it hinder you to do nothing though.
Well, it's sad that they have it set up that way. I wish that, and hopefully someday it would change. From what I'm understanding, that's here in California. I mean, here in Fresno, California.
Okay, so you can't be a truck driver, and you could be a tax man, you could be a podcaster, you could be a builder, you could be a developer. You can create a tree company. You could create a construction company. This me.
Yes.
I did all this. And you ain't got to go and begging nobody for no money. You could use your own entrepreneurship and your own mind and make it happen. I'm saying, you got that mindset?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so that's what we trying. That's the message we trying to send to the people.
Well, I've been helpful. I mean, what I've been doing of lately, I've been helping out with my family. My sister-in-law, she has some homes that we generally do a little landscaping with. You know, putting up fences and whatnot. And I've also been doing things with Spark Drive, where I go and pick up groceries for people and deliver it to their families or to their homes, whatnot. And I'm also, right now, I'm an Uber driver, and I do that generally at night. And that's basically where my income is coming from. And I just recently was doing a UPS seasonal work. I've done that for about a month.
So you're doing wonderful.
Oh yeah, I'm out and putting it in. I'm putting it in because I'm a go getter. You know what I'm saying? I go out there and I try to make it happen for me and my family.
Was you scared when you came home?
Yes,
I didn't have no fear about it.
When I came home, although I did have all of the support that I needed, my family was there for me, which was a blessing, right? But there was still some fear factors there. You know, PTS. You know, I basically had to get through that, and I'm still, struggling with it to some degree, right?
What's PTS?
That's that post-traumatic syndrome.
From going to prison?
From being in prison. You know, some of the life there in prison, it wasn't nice. You know,
I was there. So you're on the Doug Best Show, everybody out there. I see we got one or two people checking in. You guys can make a comment. Me and Celine was in USP Lompoc, Federal Penitentiary, and what it is, it's an old. When did they build the thing?
Shoot, I don't
in
know.
The
I know
20s, 30s.
I know 40. They built it a long time ago. I mean, I was just a baby when I got there compared to many other brothers that were there with me, right? I think in my Islamic community, I was the youngest Muslim in the community. When I first arrived there at the institution, they had.
How old were you when you first went there?
Wow, I think
you got to talk into the microphone, because they could hear you when you walk. Okay.
I'm sorry. I believe I was like 25 when I first got there.
He went to the penitentiary at age 25.
No. I went in at 22.
22?
Yeah, I started my case in January 7th of 1985. Okay, I did my first 5 years there in the state of Michigan, where I initially caught the bank robbery at.
38 years, 24 days.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, well, we got through it though. Through the grace of God, he was there to support me, and it wasn't easy, like I said, but I was determined to come home. I kept hope alive, so to speak, right?
And then your wife, she's been there.
Oh, for sure. Well, my wife Vivian, she's been very, very supportive. Wherever I went, she was willing to go.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't beat that at all. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate her being there for me. She was like a backbone, really keeping the brother string, held up. Of course, God.
And you need that support.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Most brothers that are doing time, they don't have it like that.
Right.
A woman may be with a person for a moment, then all of a sudden they gone and done something different.
Right.
And so you hear that boo-hoo and all that sort of stuff, but I was a little more fortunate for me.
She stayed there the whole 38 years?
No. We've been together and been married now for 35 years.
Okay.
Okay. And so she did a good portion of that time with me. Right.
That's beautiful.
And then, of course, I have my baby girl, my stepdaughter. She's been very, very supportive as well, right? She's the bully in the family.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she likes to beat me up all the time.
Okay, she's trying to keep you on the straight and narrow. I see that. I see that.
Yeah, she does that from time to time.
My daughter's a bully. She's right now, we was on Facebook for a few minutes ago, and she says, Daddy, I'm in the airport in Paris, France. Okay, we were just in Paris, France. No problem. I've been there, done that. Okay, keep talking to me. The Eiffel Tower, the whole ball of wax. We'll be in Tokyo, Japan soon. We on the Doug Best Show right now, guys.
Yeah.
Talking to my man, Larry Fowler. He did 38 years, 24 months in a federal and a state prison, 5 years in the state, and the other 33 in the federal.
Yes, for sure.
Yes. So Larry, so just tell me, so you're home now. So how much time did they give you for supervised release?
5.
5 years?
Yes.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Now,
so you're going to have to do the whole 5?
I hope not. I know they have been putting me in for release to get off parole sooner. That's up to the state of Michigan because I'm a state prisoner just being housed or being outsourced to California because I call my case a state case in Michigan.
What was it? What was it for?
Bank robbery.
Bank robbery. Oh,
Yes.
so you go in there and get that money?
Well,
The armored trucks?
hey.
I don't know, man. I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah, well, like I said before, the conversation you and I were having earlier, I said, you always have that mindset. That mindset will never leave your mind. It's like an experience that you already had, so you're going to always have that mindset there. Not to say you want to go back into that, no doubt. It's no different from anyone that's going through sobriety.
Okay.
So you're going to always feel as though that thought of mine may come back at some time, but you don't necessarily have to exercise it, though.
Yeah. I'm here with my man. You guys on the Doug Best Show. It's late night. It's 11:47 today. It's Saturday, January 11th, 2025. Listen, guys, this is what it's all about. And so Salim, so earlier when you were sitting over there, you said, man, I'm not even dressed appropriate. And what do you feel though now, man? Man, you just having a conversation.
Hey, I feel real comfortable in my skin and whatever it is that I may be wearing. I'm real comfortable in that.
And then, so guys, and everybody that's out there, what happens, once you get on a podcast, it's just me and him talking. And what you do, you position the cameras where you don't even see the cameras.
Yes.
But normally in a bigger production, they have multiple cameras and they got a person. You see me? You see how I moved that camera right there? I moved it to him. And then I moved it back to me and him. It's multiple cameras in here. And so usually when you might be on one of those bigger shows, Shannon Sharp or Don Lemon or somebody, they got camera people, they got directors, they got producers. But on this show right here, I'm Doug Best, baby. I do it all. Man, then, Big Larry, man, I'm so glad you're here, man, and we're able to just chop it up. And so what have you noticed, man, that, what have you noticed since you've been home about the politics and the city and the power base and the gangs and all that kind of stuff? I know I'm giving you a whole bunch. Let's just pick one. The power base since you've been here. So do you even look at the politics?
Not as much as it doesn't really attract my attention. I say that because I'm out here grinding. I'm trying to make up for lost causes. You know what I'm saying? But what little I do know, you get what you vote for, people. I mean, if you like what they offering to you and you vote that pill in, hey, it is what it is. You can't be upset about what you done voted in.
Right.
But I think the people need to be more involved in their politics. The homeless out here, they're just doing so bad. You see them all the time talking to themselves. It's sad now. And I find myself from time to time, contributing to that. That is to say, when they pull up to the car, I might give them $1 or $2. or I might even give a person a ride if he needs to go somewhere because like I said, I'd be doing that Uber driving at night, and I don't like to see the women out there just with the babies and doing what they're doing.
Right.
So sometimes I pull up and say, "Look, you need a ride somewhere?"
But you got to be very careful with that right
Oh,
now.
for sure.
Because they might think, hey, man, that guy might be a creep. You know?
Well, I would hope that they wouldn't think that way. I try to encourage the people when I do have that opportunity. And I've picked up a few people, and taken them where they needed to go because it was in my route. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just a mile down the road, it was in my route. So I've done that a few times, just being helpful.
Right.
And I think that's a good thing if you can.
Yeah. So Salim, so since you've been home, and the 38 years that you were gone, when you came home, was everybody still here? Was your parents still alive? Your brothers, your sisters?
Well, as I said, the neighborhood wasn't the same anymore. My family, they moved on as well. Some of them moved out of Fresno. My mom is still here, thank God. My sister's here. My brother and a few other family members, they down in the L.A. area and down in Arkansas.
Have you talked to them since the wildfires?
Oh, yeah. I've spoken to my brother. In fact, I just spoke to my brother a few days ago, and as well as yesterday, two of my brothers, because my niece was out there in Northridge, and she was trying to get back to Fresno because she was a little afraid about the fires. But, I encouraged her to try to, contact the local officials out there to see how things were.
Yeah, on the freeway, could you get over the grapevine? You don't get stuck in there.
Yeah, but I couldn't just jump on the road to go get her because of my condition. I have to have permission to drive from place to place. Like if I'm going to L.A., I have to have permission from my parole officer to go there, and they generally would like a 2 weeks notice.
Okay.
So I just can't jump on the road to go down that way to bring her back. But she's here now. She's made it back here.
So with my man here, you guys on the Doug Best Show, I would hope that some of you guys just see us, or when I upload it, just push the like button or push the subscribe button. Man, this is phenomenal. I don't know no other show that I've ever seen sit down with somebody that I personally know that spent 38 years, 24 days in the state and the federal penitentiary continuously.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he went home and he did a violation and he came back.
None of that.
He's 22 years old. Then he get out at 60.
Yeah. I was, And it was crazy the way that happened because at the time I was on, when I caught the case, I was on federal parole. And so they issued a detainer against me. And when it came time for me being released from prison, the detainer came up, but the state never got the notice from the feds that the detainer was no longer active.
Right.
And so they held me a little longer, and my wife and I had to do the battle with them. I had to go into the law books because I was somewhat of a paralegal. We had to battle with the feds to let them know, hey, there's no detainer. You need to inform the state that there's no detainer, that it's been dropped and removed. And so we had to go back and forth with them by email just to get them to see that, And we couldn't sue them after the fact because you have to have permission to sue the feds or the government, and you just can't sue them for their mistake. So they generally held me a little longer because I was supposed to came home in September of 2022. I ended up coming home in January 23.
Right.
So I had to battle. We had to battle throughout that period.
Yeah. So Salim, so you did 38 years, 24 days, guys. Man, could you imagine that? We got some people out there that might be scrolling through real fast. You're on the Doug Best Show late night. It's almost midnight, baby. And we in the city of Fresno. We just chopping it up. So when you did the 38 years and 24 months, 38 years and 24 days, do you harbor any bitterness?
No, actually, no. Of course, I wish I could have came home sooner, but it was an experience I had to go through because of the mistakes that I've been making. I think had I came home sooner, I probably would have ended up doing something far worse. So I came home when it was time for me to come home. Some of the experiences that some of my family members had to go through, I think I would have responded to a little differently than they had. So I think everything happens for a reason within its place. I believe that wholeheartedly. So I came home when it was time for me to come home.
Right. We had a few preachers on here, and so you give a lot of your inspiration and a lot of your internal strength to God.
For sure.
For God, for sure, for sure.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. And then so do you still got the same discipline now for as you're praying and been obedient to the religion that you had when you were there, or has it laxed?
Oh no, we still committed 100. We still committed 100. I made that mistake once before. I, I know many of you may not know I'm Muslim, right? And I've been Muslim for all those years. And when I first caught the first bank robbery, because this was my second go around, by the way, when I caught my first bank robbery back in '81, April of '81, I went in and I wasn't Muslim at the time. I was a Baptist. I was in the Baptist church, that sort of thing. And then later on, I became Muslim. But when I came home in '83, November '83, I started backsliding.
So, guys, this Larry Fowler, Salim, he did 38 years. Man.
Yeah.
38 years, 24 days in prison. He went to prison at 22 years old, and the man comes home at 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Salim, could you kind of just elaborate just a little bit? Because a lot of black people are going to be thinking, when they think Muslim, me included, most of us would think that, were you in the Nation of Islam, Sunni Muslims, or
okay,
just for the people?
For clarity, to be clear, let me clarify then. No, I wasn't with the Nation. Never have been with the Nation.
Okay.
My thing is, you would probably consider me a Sunni Muslim because I follow the Prophet, his Sunnah, his way, and I have been doing that for many years now. Committed to that. A lot of people may think that all Muslims are terrorists, and that's not the case either.
Okay.
We do have brothers that are out there that follow in a certain way or prescription that is not a part of the Quran. It's not a part of Islam at all. And so I'm here to tell you today that Islam is not about terrorists. They're about peace. Don't get me wrong. Now they're about the business when it comes to defense. You know what I'm saying? But we're not a state like that.
Right.
And so we will defend our family. We will defend what we believe in wholeheartedly.
Right.
But we won't offend you if you're not combative towards us.
Right.
So a lot of people just need to understand Islam. If you never read the Quran, you might want to pick up a copy and check it out. Don't just hear what the news media may have to say about us. Do your research. You might be surprised what you might find there.
Yeah, so Salim, guys, you're on the Doug Best Show this late night. If you can, push the like button, make a comment, say something, help us grow the podcast. My man, Larry Fowler, he was in prison. 38 years, 24 days. And so, Big Larry, so tell me, man, so is being a Sunni Muslim or being a Muslim, how do the people see you? So when you go into an establishment, you go into a bank or whatever, what do you call the thing that you got on your head?
A kufi.
A kufi. You go in there with the kufi, and the average person, I don't know what the average person thinks. Some people might think, like you say, hey, man, that guy might be one of them guys, that blew up the World Trade Center or something like that. So
I met some of those brothers too, by the way.
Right.
And I had that kind of conversation with them, why they did that.
Oh, yeah, I was in there. I seen them, but I never talk about that stuff too much. I was in there with them. And then, so what I'm asking you, so when you walk around with the kufi on, are you embraced? Are you embraced more by the black people, the Mexican people, the white people, or who's shun you? How do that work?
Well, since I've been driving on the Uber side of the fence, I have some of my passengers that are in the car, and they may comment on that. They may ask, are you Muslim? And I would say, yes, of course. And they may ask, what do you think about that sort of thing? And I may give them that explanation. I find that as an opportunity to explain to them what we are and what we are not. Because a lot of people have a misconception about what we are.
Right.
But they really don't know.
Right.
Okay, so I try to educate them about who we are. But then when I'm out and about with my wife or my family, and we're walking through the store or the grocery store, people don't necessarily look at us differently. I haven't gotten no bad impression from anyone since I've been out there.
Right.
And so I think they embrace us, just like any other normal person that is moving about.
Right. So I'm just wondering, sometimes how we might encounter, I was going to say racism, discrimination, or whatever it is for just being black. And so being black and then also being a Sunni Muslim, that seemed like that might be a double negative. Or am I just, is my perception or my assumption wrong?
Well, I think the people, if they feel that way, your perception may be wrong.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking if the people feel that particular way, they don't necessarily express it to you out in the open. They might hold that back. And those who are bold, they may ask you about your position. And I just had the opportunity to just explain that, like I just said. As I've said, I've spoken on a number of occasions. In fact, just tonight, I had a barber that is studying over here at one of these here particular colleges. He was in my car tonight, and I was explaining to him about the difference between Islam and Prophet Jesus and Abraham and whatnot. And so we had a little lightweight conversation about that because he wanted to know. He said, "I noticed you got a kufi on your head," or he didn't. He said the cap. He didn't know. So I explained to him what it was, and we went from there. So I had him for about 10 minutes in my car. So I find opportunity to explain to people what this sort of thing is about.
That's beautiful, man. I'm listening. I see we got Tina Greathouse. She says, "Hi, Norma," and she says, "Hello, Norma." Tina Greathouse, and then I see Mary Jane Castanila Nita. Am I saying it right? I'm just looking at the different people that might be chiming in. I'm with my man right here, Larry Fowler. And then my senorita saying hello. Her and the girls going back and forward.
Well,
they don't got no questions for Larry. He did 38 years, 24 months, 38 years, 24 days in the state and the federal penitentiary. You guys on the Doug Best Show. And we just made it to midnight, baby. Man, this is amazing right here. You know, I love this right here. I was just telling my senorita we went and got Chinese food down the street.
Right.
And this place right here, this office right here, this studio right here, it's a home away from home. As you know, we got everything in here.
That's
if
right.
we wanted to stay here, you know, it could be like an apartment. But I made the podcast, and I wanted to be a national platform. Man, I'm loving you for taking the time to sit down and talk about it. And then you, huh? Oh, she says, "What's your question?" She said, "How handle to stay in prison for so many years? How did you handle it, staying in prison for so many years?"
Well,
that was my senorita, guys. You know, if you don't know, it's this place right here. She in the back room. She's watching everything I'm doing. Says, "How did you handle it for staying in prison so long?" Somebody else might have that question out there to Larry. If somebody got a question, this is your opportunity to ask, because you're not going to run into too many people that's did 38 years and 24 days in a penitentiary.
Well, one thing you had to do, you had to stay active. You had to get involved in the programs. Because if you stayed around like most people are doing nowadays, playing basketball, sitting at the gambling table, watching television, I couldn't get involved. I couldn't get in too deeply in that. So I had to stay active. I got involved in the programs. I kept a job. And, you know, I've always acted as a clerk in various different agents in very different departments, right? I started
right.
out.
So me and Celine, Larry Fowler, you know, we was in USP Federal Penitentiary, Lompop,
USP.
and we USP,
United States
Penitentiary, Lompop, Federal Penitentiary, and we worked in the business office.
Yes, we did.
And the warden gave me the password. I had access to everything.
Yeah,
it's a true story. And Miss Stevenson and
you remember
JR, I remember everybody, because you remember me and Chico was always involved in something. But the warden loved me. You remember the warden loved me, and I had the password. We could do anything.
Well,
we worked in the business office.
Yeah, well, in fact, I was happy to be in the business office because it has helped me out here.
Right.
In fact, I didn't tell you guys this, but I'm about to, probably sometime next month, I might launch this here bookkeeping company that I've been working on.
Beautiful.
Right. And what helped me with that, when I worked in the business office for 13 solid years, I learned about accounts payables, transportation, receivables, and the debits and credits and all that sort of thing, even the procurement department. And so I got a real good understanding about that, which is going to help me or propel me into this other business that I intend to kick off here shortly.
Yeah, so that's the beauty about being in the federal penitentiary. I was telling somebody earlier about the difference. I went to both too, state and federal penitentiary, but in the federal penitentiary, you learn a lot about finance, economics, the stocks.
Well, you can if you take the time to study.
But I took the time to study.
Yes.
Definitely took the time to study. Got multiple degrees. And he talking about accounting. I loved accounting. At first, you remember one-armed Larry George?
Larry George.
He said, saying, "You can't be the clerk. I got the password. I don't have to do nothing." I'm thinking in my own. Yeah, the warden, I got the password for the warden. But we end up learning accounting, micro accounting. Oh, my God, what a beautiful experience. And then, like you say right now, at the time, we didn't realize. We talking guys out there who's just jumping in right now, whoever's seeing us, is My man here, Larry Fowler, he did 38 years, 24 days in the Federal Penitentiary. It's Saturday night. It's 12:04 here, and we just chopping it up. So the beautiful part, I remember you worked for J.R. Hollingsworth, and he was the computer tech.
Yeah, and I worked for him for 7 years inside the business office, and that it helped me learn more about computers and printers and whatnot. And so that gave me a little insight as well. So I didn't come home as a dummy. Didn't know a little bit. I knew a little bit of something about computers and printers and whatnot.
Right. That's beautiful right
Yeah.
there. But how many wardens, associate wardens did we have in there? You remember?
Oh wow.
You
Let me
remember
see.
Mr.
There was
Smooth?
Johnson. There was Johnson, and then there was, of course, Harry Johnson. It was two Johnsons, mind you. I think it was about 4 or 5 that came through there inside the
And
associate
then,
wardens.
associate warden. You remember
Yeah.
the one that was in there? He looked at like Michael Douglas. He was real smooth. Always
That's
average.
Johnson. That was Johnson. He was the one that got caught womanizing with the girls and whatnot.
Yeah, because he was so smooth.
Yeah, well, he got his butt in trouble.
Yeah, but they didn't really do nothing to him. He just, everything's. Hey guys, you guys on the Doug Best Show is late night. I'm with my main man Larry Fowler. He did 38 years, 24 months. But
24
I remember
days.
38 years, 24 days.
Yes.
And it's late night here. I remember Johnson. I got a picture of him. Jay Diamond took the picture of me and him, and then I worked for what was the other guy's name?
I wish we could find Jay Diamond, man. John Shorter. I don't know where he done vanished to.
Right.
But I know he's out now, though, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, he's out somewhere. Yeah. Man, and the beauty, Salim, I'm glad that you came. How you feeling, though, man?
Hey, I tell my wife all the time when I see the
Blessed.
opportunity, hey, I'm free, I'm home.
And I'm glad, man, that
and I got a little job.
You created a job.
No doubt.
Created a job.
No doubt.
Yeah, and then for all the people that's out there, I talk about this all the time, man, how going to prison, and some people might look at it as a curse, but it's really a blessing. Because if you went in there, and oftentimes, I know you read the book, George Jackson, and he talks about the letters to George Jackson. You remember that book?
I remember this book.
Yeah, and he talks about, what prison does. It brings out the best, and it brings out the worst
as well.
But you got to be smart enough to be able to make the distinction about what's what, and make the discernmentship and say, which direction am I going to go?
Yeah, you would have that decision. That's a decision I think all of us have to make while we're there.
And every day we got to make that decision.
And, I was fortunate to be around some strong-minded brothers. They kept me, like I said, I was the youngest brother at one point there in Lompoc. Okay, and they kept me grounded. And when I say brothers, I'm speaking about the Islamic community, because the brotherhood was really strong there.
Right.
In fact, it was so strong that we were like peacemakers on the compound. Even the staff would come to us to help us.
Not so much in Lompoc, though, not the penitentiary, though.
Yeah, in Lompoc USP, before the officer got killed.
Green was a part of the Sunni Muslims.
Yes, he was.
Green was a guy, Roy Green.
Yes.
He killed an officer there.
Brother Hanif. That was his name.
He killed the officer in USP Lompoc. Oh, my God, that was a horrible experience there.
I remember that day to this day.
Everybody's coming out the cafeteria.
Yes. I was right there.
Yeah.
I was sitting less than 15 feet away from where the issue actually taking place.
Yeah, I seen Green. I didn't sit at the table with you guys too much. I was with I sit with the lifers. I'm always with the lifer.
Yes.
Ray Brown and them.
Yeah.
And Freeway Rick. Now I sit with for a little while, and they said, "No, it's too weak." Yeah, this is a hell of an experience right here, and this is a hell of a conversation, guys. You're on the Doug Best Show. This late night, and listen, man, this the beauty about the podcast. We don't have to. My daughter was saying, "Dad, you need a bass." A bass about what? It's 12 o'clock at night. My man come in here, and we just sit up. I turn the equipment on, then we doing a podcast. Go ahead and talk to me.
One moment. Since we mentioned Brother Green, right? Brother Hanif, what a lot of people don't know, what transpired in that incident back then was that he went to the SHU, or the Special Housing Unit, for an incident that had occurred. And during that period, they would pack up his property. And what they did with his property, they vandalized it. The staff vandalized it, taking the Quran, which we consider sacred, and they poured, what is that called? That baby oil on there. So they damaged it, and then they laughed at it in front of him, right? And so I guess he made a promise or a commitment to see them when he came out. And so when he came out the SHU, or the special housing unit, I saw him that day. I had no idea what had transpired, what caused that, right? But I saw him that day, that afternoon, when he came out of the SHU, and I thought I would see him later. So we greeted one another and hugged one another, and then he went on about his business because I knew he would be in the chapel later on that evening.
Right.
And so while I was sitting in the chow hall at the kitchen table, surrounded by some of my brothers, my Muslim brothers, the deuces went off, and that is an alarm for the police to respond to a certain incident when the deuces go off. And so the kitchen doors slammed, and so they were behind me. And so one of the inmates or companions that are sitting in the chow hall eating came up to me and said, Brother Salim, your brother's out there hurting the police or doing something. I said, who?
Just pause right there. Just pause right there, and I'm going to bring a little clarity to the listening audience, if anybody's out there listening. This USP Lompop, a guy in there, a black guy named Roy Green. He went to the SHU. He went to the hole. They had him in solitary confinement. I'm just making the story. I know the story because I was there.
Yes.
I'm making the story clear. My man here, Larry Fowler, Salim, that's what we call him. He did 38 years, 24 days, 32 years, a little more in the federal penitentiary, 5 years in the state. We all in the cafeteria this lunchtime. Roy Green, I know the brother.
Yeah.
I know everybody because I'm Dougie. I'm all the same here than I was in the penitentiary. It's the same. Is it any different?
No.
Ain't no difference.
No.
Ain't no difference. In the federal penitentiary, I work for the warden. I get in trouble. They usually get me out of trouble. Yeah, I was pretty smart there. So Roy Green, he goes to the SHU, solitary confinement. Sometimes you might call it the hole. The police takes all his personal property and they pours baby oil on his Quran and all those different things. And he said that, that when he gets out, he gonna take care of his business. So what he ended up doing, he see the officer. Everybody in the federal penitentiary, you come out of the chow hall and they pat you down.
Yes.
They patting them down.
No.
I'm just setting the stage so
okay.
they'll know. If 10 people come out, 5 or 6 people gonna get patted down.
Yes.
But when Roy comes out,
he never was in the kitchen.
He didn't go in?
No. He came from the unit. He was an M unit.
Okay, so he already had it premeditated.
Yes.
But everybody paid for it in that penitentiary, I'm telling you. For months.
Yes.
You got stripped down buck naked.
Stayed in your cells.
And then you remember we was in B unit.
I was in K unit at the time.
Yeah, remember I was in B unit. The B unit was the honor unit.
Yes.
I was in the honor unit.
Yes.
Oh my God. And even in the honor unit, they treated us. I said, man, I work for Warden Johnson, baby. It didn't work no more. But go ahead and finish your story. Hey guys, this is Doug Best. We on the Doug Best Show late night. Somebody gonna see this man somewhere because that's the power of that social media. It could be somebody in New York City. It could be Freeway Rick. It could be Ray Brown, and it could be Theodore Eddington. Somebody this is in there with us, and they gonna say, "Oh my God, I remember that." What year was it?
Wow,
I think it was like 96. Yeah,
the year escaped me. It might have been 96.
Yeah, it might have been like 96 because I remember in 2000 they moved me, and I was so happy. They moved me to Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, I don't remember the year when it occurred, but the incident I remember vividly.
It had happened just a little bit after the Million Man March. Yeah.
Okay.
But go ahead and finish your story. I was just interrupting, trying to get a little clarity. I'm with my man here, Larry Fowler.
Yeah.
38 years, 24 days. And then we'll wrap it up and tell the people what we want them to get out this conversation we had.
All right. Well, the bottom line was that the officer had vandalized his property, 2 of them, and he intended to get some revenge out of that. And so when they slammed the doors while I was in the chow hall, because it happened right outside the door of the chow hall, they slammed the door and the guys came to me and said, "Brother Salim, your Muslim brothers out there getting into it with the people, with the police." And so everybody's rushing to the doors. You can't get out the doors because they shut, right? So I don't have that motion to go to these doors or to go to incidents where things are occurring because, other things can happen. And so I come to find out when I did eventually go to the door to look out, because there was so many people looking out, I saw that the officers were dragging some of their own other officers down the hallway, and you could see the blood streak. So it was definitely getting into it. I didn't know who the person was. I didn't see Roy Green until later. I never seen him. They must have taken him a different route to get him out of the hallway after they secured him, right? But he punished the officers, that were involved. Some of them ran, and that was the end of it. Then later on, we found out that they abused him. They stated that they hadn't abused him because they didn't want no repercussion from the Islamic community. So they appeased us that way. They let us hear his voice on the phone call, which really wasn't. It was really his phone call, but it was a prior phone call with his mother or something like that.
Right.
It wasn't something that had happened right then and there. Them trying to share with us that he was okay when they actually abused him and beat him up or abused him later on. But later on, they taken us down to the grand jury, asked us questions about the incident, and never went to trial. And he's still incarcerated right now.
Right.
In fact,
he had life all the time, though, right?
No, the brother he was about to go home. He had very little time. He was probably going to be leaving within months, or maybe 6 or 7 months, if not more. But he was short. He was about to go home.
Yeah. So guys, just imagine this: you in a federal penitentiary, and you got 2 or 3 months to go home, and the police got you in solitary confinement. They do something, but your will and your conviction is so strong about you living a certain lifestyle, and they did something to his Bible, the Quran, and he couldn't take it. I think I'd have been able to suck it up. Me and Jesus would have had to been talking a little later. I want to go home, Jesus. I'm mad at the police. I didn't get mad at the police, but I just suck it up, and I'm here today to talk about it. You're on the Doug Best Show, baby. Late night with my man, Larry Fowler.
Well, everyone is different.
Everybody's different.
Some brothers have a little more stronger commitment to how they feel about certain things than others. I think it was just, to me, it was although it's a very special book to me, I respect it, right? If someone wishes to abuse it, how are they abusing it? I mean, they can't abuse what Allah has already revealed to us. You know what I'm saying? That information is with us. We can recover it, right? If they tear it up or damage it or whatever the case may be, it's recoverable.
Yeah, I got you.
It's replaceable. But now we have a brother that's been incarcerated X amount of time, and he should have been home. But because what they've done and that information never came out the way that it has, it's sad because now he's not there with his family.
So Salim, Larry Fowler, so you went through all that, and you're home now, man. And then we want to just wrap it up, everybody, guys. We on the Doug Best Show. This is my man, Larry Fowler. And I'm going to put the mic on you right there in 1 second, but I'm going to go back. It's a late night, man. You on the Doug Best Show. He did 38 years. And they said, how many years you do, Doug? 24. And 38 years and 24 days.
Correct.
But I got the days, but I got the years did too. And then we walked all the time on the yard.
Yes.
Exercising every day. I was like an exercise.
So they're taking the weights from us.
Yeah. And then we still start doing pull-ups, beat the bag, running.
Yes.
All kinds of things. You could do a lot of things, to keep your body and your mind in shape. But now here we home.
Yes.
We home, and now my daughter said, Daddy, you a senior citizen. You feel like you're a senior citizen?
Hey, well, I
can you do 100 push-ups right now?
Oh, I can still do 100 push-ups. I tell my family
I can't do 100 push-ups, man. I feel bad.
I can't run the mile the way I once used to, but I can still do those 100 push-ups.
I can't do 100 push-ups, man. I can barely do 50 and 60. I'm struggling.
Hey, well, the back ain't what it used to be, but, I can still put in that work, though. Thank God for that.
That's beautiful, man. I'm loving you, man, that you're here. And I just seen you from the first day. You remember you came over? I was just breaking ground on the apartment complex.
Yes, it's done made a lot of progress over there, too.
Oh, yeah. Then we just left from over there, locking the gates. Now, the interior is dead. They just got to finish a little more with the drywall. Man, it's beautiful, man. And so we here. And so we are an example of what could happen when you spend all your youth in a penitentiary.
Well,
both of us.
Well, I spent half my years there. I mean, I went in at
all of your youth.
Yeah, all of it.
All of the youth.
Yeah,
the
I
20s,
had
the
more time.
30s, the 40s,
I spent more
and
time.
the 50.
Yeah, I spent more time in prison than I did on the street.
Yeah, but
You know,
right now
but
we
now I'm
here.
home. But now I'm home. I'm free. I'm blessed, and I'm still out here making it.
Yeah, so have it ever been one of them situations where you be thinking, man, he just don't know what I'm capable of since you've been home.
I thought about those
Yeah,
things.
so has anybody challenged you?
Not really.
Is it
But
because
I have thought about certain things. You know, this brother just don't know what a person may be capable of. But you know, I keep that to myself. You know, I haven't had no real incidents, so that's a blessing.
that's a blessing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I be thinking, and my son told me the other day, I said, boy, you know I can step off the porch anytime I want. He said, Daddy, you better just go sit your old ass down. What?
Hey, but
But he probably right, man.
it's,
uh,
it's it's different. You know, as I was saying earlier about our mindset. You know, we still have that criminal mindset, but do you exercise it? No.
yeah, but I was listening to you there. I don't think that them. So a criminal, they categorize him as a sociopath. He got a sociopathic mindset. I think I don't think that I'm a sociopath. I think that I went to jail for drugs.
Hmm.
I'm being an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
Was that wrong? Morally wrong? Ethically wrong? Legally wrong? Yeah. But I don't think that just because I went to jail that I'm not categorizing myself as being. I think if you went to prison and you're a convicted felon, okay, that's a label. But I'm not internalizing that. I'm not internalizing that just because I went to jail for selling drugs that now I got a criminal mindset. I'm a predator.
No.
I see myself as a thinker. I think that was an entrepreneurship, and I took that avenue. Now I'm still doing entrepreneurship right here in the tax office, or when I'm developing apartments over there, when I'm cutting trees, or when I'm doing the construction. I don't see going to jail as a negative. The criminal mindset, unless I'm reading you wrong.
Well,
robbing a bank is something different.
It's like you have these brothers that might be alcoholics, and they go through a process of coming off of the alcohol. They made it up in their minds, okay, I want to leave this thing alone.
Right.
And so they go through the process of the AA program.
Right.
And their sobriety. I've been sober for X amount of months. I've been sober for X amount of years. But the thought is still there. It was an experience that they've gone through. So that experience that we've gone through in incarceration, doing crimes and whatnot, that thought is still in your mindset. It's an experience that you have had. It's still there. It would never go anywhere. But you might see certain situations when you're walking throughout life that you said, man, I probably would have done that differently. You know what I'm saying? So you're not really contemplating doing it. You are like now a consultant. Okay, you
Right.
might inform a person, look, you might, like I tell my wife at times, be careful when you're out there at night. You know,
always be careful.
you are a woman, and or certain doors that you might want to keep locked because you are a woman. So these are things that you might want to consider. Like I used to be a burglar.
Right.
Okay. And so if I notice something about a house that I think it need to be improvement, then you might want to improve upon that. And so things like that come to mind because you had that experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm speaking to.
Yeah, but I went to prison for being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
In the streets selling drugs. I don't have no thoughts about none of. Somebody was asking me something about drugs. I don't even think about that. So the question is, if it was something where it was 100 kilos of cocaine when I get involved in it, hell no, I don't even think about that. I don't even think about going. I went to prison for selling drugs. I don't even think nothing about selling drugs under no circumstances, never nowhere. I don't even go around this stuff.
Well, let me ask you this then.
Mm-hmm.
The average citizen may not think that way, no doubt.
Right.
But do they commit crimes?
Who?
What would be considered a crime? Let's say they come to a red light and they cross the light. Let's say they go into the grocery store and they say don't pluck the grapes or the plums.
Oh, you see me doing that? Yeah, I did that. Ate some grapes.
I'm saying, okay, you got an armored truck going down the road. It hits a bump and some cash fall out the back of the truck, and the truck kept right on going. How many people are going to stop and get it?
I'm finna keep going.
You're going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But how many citizens that are so innocent are going to stop and get the money?
I'm not sure about that, but I'm just going back to your first thinking about if we've been to prison, we still got that criminal mindset. I don't really necessarily. I took that DAP program, and it talked about The DAP program, I know we going on. The DAP program is when you're in prison. It's the drug program, drug and alcohol program. And so I wasn't addicted to drugs. I was addicted to a criminal lifestyle, entrepreneurship, of getting the money, you get in endorphins. And so I took that, and one of the teachers was trying to convince me that something was wrong with me. I said, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I just took that particular product and, tried to take it to a level where I could get millions out of it. But it was wrong, morally wrong, ethically wrong. But now that I'm home, I don't even think about it.
Okay, well,
I don't even, I
well,
don't even, don't even enter my mind.
Maybe it's different folks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because the ideas, you may not exercise the ideas like I mentioned. Okay.
I don't even let the ideas even enter my mind.
Well, you might use them as a method to encourage others not to do certain things. I have conversations with a little young brother that I'd be mentoring, right? And I explain to him what I've done and what he needs to try to avoid. I have nephews. In fact, one of my nephews had gotten into some trouble with, at his school, and I've been telling him for the longest that this is what I've experienced, et cetera, this here and that and the other, to the point where when I heard about his last episode, I'd taken him over to the juvenile center. The new juvenile center looks like a prison over there on the 99. I've taken him actually over to the spot, around the whole spot, taking him up into their
Oh, you trying to use one of them scared straight tactics?
Yeah, of course. I mean, because I wouldn't want him to go through the experience that I went through. The juvenile center, the California Youth Authorities, prison. This is just like a cycle, man. And all our little young brothers out there going through this here particular cycle and not knowing that these are some of the consequences for our actions.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what happened the other day. I went to the city council. We got invited down there, me and my senorita, by Nick Richardson. He won the city council seat for District 6. That's River Park, out there further where the money's at. But we went. I seen a few black guys in there, reputable guys from the city, and they had one of the city councilors. His name was Aries, and he was talking to the guy Gary Brettafield directly, and he was telling them about, when they talking about immigration, that's real life to them, because like he says, he's like the second or third generation from immigration, from his people coming over here, so he's assimilated to middle class. And so he's there as a city councilman. But then I thought, when I looked around there, looked around the arena, looked around the whole chambers, I seen no black people in position of power. And so I was thinking in my mind, a lot of us, I told my daughter this earlier today, I said most of us, and not most of us, some of us, a big majority of the black people, we don't assimilate to the middle class and to these other positions of power, political powers, because we get caught up in that vicious cycle, that criminal mindset that you're talking about, how we get stuck there. We get stuck from welfare. We get stuck from welfare until we go into the streets, getting involved in the criminal activities, call ourselves hustling, and that takes us nowhere. So it's like a vicious cycle. I go to prison. My son, Doug Jr., he goes to prison. Unknowing to him that, that genetic, defective intelligence that I had, it rubbed off on him, and then it goes from generation to generation. I think that's what you're talking about right now.
Definitely a cycle.
A vicious cycle. And then for you talking to the young people, that's a beautiful thing. But a lot of times, man, me and Mike Hughes talked about this a little while ago, and the people almost got to want it. And then by us being on here just talking right now, somebody gonna look at this somewhere down the road. You're on the Doug Best Show right now, me and my man Larry Fowler. He did 38 years, 24 days in the state and the federal penitentiary, 32 years, a little more in the federal penitentiary. So we just on the show right now live, chopping it up, just kicking it.
Yes.
You're not gonna get this from Shannon Sharp and them. They don't know this because they ain't had this experience. So a lot of people see them cats that they got 1 million followers, and then you look at the Doug Best Show and we got less than 1,000 subscribers. And they think that because these guys are celebrities that, they know more or they're more intelligent than us. There's no way possible that they can have the experiences that we didn't have, and they can have the intelligence that we have. And these particular spaces that we talking about right now. This is a
feel you.
beautiful thing, man. I'm loving you for this.
feel
And
you.
somebody else out there, I'm not sure whether somebody else out there listening, man. So what, we went through the criminal justice system, but you can learn from that, and then you could come out and be a stronger and a better person. I mean, it's a bad thing that we went through it, but it's a good thing that we went through the fire and we came out now. We could talk about it. We can't go to channel 30, channel 24, channel 47 and talk about this. This is why I created the Doug Best Show. This is a show for the people that we can get on here and talk about some real issues. So just think, if we wanted, me and you talked about this a few minutes ago, if we wanted to talk to the mayor, I went down there. They're not going to let me talk to nobody. If we wanted to talk to the city councilman, we got to go talk to a gatekeeper to get me a meeting, and the gatekeeper has to be there. But if we got 1 million people watching the Doug Best Show, and Donald Trump came to Fresno, and I got 1 million people on the Doug Best Show, subscribers and watchers and followers, they got to come sit in one of these chairs and talk to us, man. But in the meantime,
Yes.
man, you got to talk about it, man. I'm loving you, man, for this, Sling.
Hey,
How you feel, man?
Hey, I feel good. As I've said before, I'm blessed.
Yeah, you blessed, man. We're going to wrap it up. I think we covered a lot of areas, man, and we probably needed this. This, before you're in the pen, they just tell you that, sometimes, man, you need a pen pal because it's therapeutic to get the old thoughts out and express some new ones. And that's what we're doing right now.
Well, if you need me, call me back. Some of your subscribers might have some other questions, right?
Okay, then, I got you. Just wrap it up and then just tell them, what you want the people to know as we close. What's this in a nutshell? You're always at the end, you want to be able to tell the people, so what we talked about, we want to add some value. This is the Doug Best Show, and it's for the people. We want to add some kind of value to the people's life. If you did it in a nutshell, what would it be?
A lot of brothers are coming home, and when they come home, they need jobs.
Mm-hmm. That's you right there.
Yeah, they need jobs. Mm-hmm. And so if you know someone is coming home, give him that support and help him if he can. Help him get a job because he's going to need some cash in his pocket. You don't want to be running around broke. You don't want to let him develop those ideas where he wants to go back to prison for something that he could have avoided. They need work. And so if you know someone, and sometimes it's not necessarily what you know, but who you might know.
Relationships.
Yeah. We need jobs. That was the thing that a lot of brothers may not have that get up and go type of mindset that you and I may have had, right? That we had. Not may have had it, that we had.
Oh, I got it. I'm born with it, baby.
We came out here running. We came out with a plan. And some brothers come out, they may not have that particular plan. But if you know if you know someone that can get a job too, help them out.
Right. Okay, we got you, man. So, hey, guys, you're on the Doug Best Show. We started about a few minutes before 12. And here it is now. It's 12:32, and I know Celine got to go get back in the Uber right now.
Yeah,
You losing money?
Hey.
You ain't losing no money, man,
Hey,
right there. You never know, you might be on this show right here, man. Tomorrow they said, you know what?
If it
I got a truck from you.
If it can benefit someone, I'm more than happy to help.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. And I appreciate everybody that's out there. I'm looking at you right now in the camera. Everybody that's out there, I appreciate the opportunity to come on your live feed. And, me and my man right here, Celine, he did 38 years, 24 days in prison. He went to prison at 22 years old, came home at 60. He's been home for 2 years. And ever since he been home, he came to my job site when I'm building apartments at. And even though, he got the driver's license to be a truck driver, it didn't work out. He didn't stop. We went to lunch over and over and over again. He started doing the Uber. He took the bookkeeping course. You ain't missed a beat.
No.
You doing all right. You just want to be in that $1 million bracket.
Well, I wait my time. I mean, I probably will eventually get there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's overrated, though.
If I can just keep my wife from spending, maybe we can get there over the hump.
No, let her spend all she wants, man. No, when my senator, don't be listening to me. Yeah, guys, I love you for this.
Sure, you're right. Hey, it's all good, brother.
Yeah,
You
we gonna tie it up, man. We here on the Doug Best Show, and I'm happy and I appreciate everybody that's been coming to the Best Taxes. We open in my podcast inside the office, and tonight is Saturday. We done moved into Sunday. I'm happy that everybody's tuning in and you allowed us to come on your live feed. If you do get an opportunity to see us on YouTube, push the subscribe button, push the like button, and every chance that we get to go live, I'm gonna go live, and I hope we add some value to your life. I'm Doug, baby. This
Nice.
my man Salim. I'm your friend.
Nice meeting all of you.
Okay, guys, we'll see you soon. We're gonna wrap it up.
Be blessed.
Okay, be blessed, guys. With love.